And welcome back to Jeff Koinange Live here at Citizen Television. What a conversation we're having here with Nyeri Town Member of Parliament Gunjiru Wambogo and Kikuyu Member of Parliament Kimani Ishungwa. Ishungwa.
No, it's orange.
No.
Tishugwa.
No, the only thing you can associate me with oranges with is when I'm eating them. The other oranges.
Oh, that's right.
He came from ODM. He knows better about oranges. Yes. But let me just start, Jeff, if you allow me, first by, as we were saying off air, by congratulating both candidates in Msambweni. The Honorable Faisal, now the Member of Parliament elect for Msambweni, and his competitor Omar Boga. I have watched the concession by Omar Boga, and I thought, in fact, I commented in a group that we share, a parliamentary group, and I said maybe this guy should start a school or to tutor his party leaders on what democracy is about. Because, as you are saying, BBI will not cure me refusing to concede defeat. Right. If I don't concede defeat and I don't follow due process, and I tell my supporters, let's go out to the streets, that will not be cured by BBI. Two is a question that Mujiri had pointed out on the use of police. I can tell you, the night before the election in Msambweni, the area OCPD, Mr. Bitok, was moved from Msambweni at night. The DCIO, I can't remember whether it is Kilonzi or someone, was also moved at night. And the operation that followed after that is what begs the question on how genuine are we with this BBI process if we intend to end electoral violence.
If it was, and I said, it was, why come the Jubilee candidate didn't, or ODM candidate?
The ODM Jubilee candidate, the handshake candidate.
The handshake candidate. How come they didn't win then?
Let me tell you, at 7, about some minutes past 7 or to 7 p.m. last night, Mwakigwena, I have that name, Mwakigwena Primary School, was attacked. If you looked at the polling stations that were reported yesterday, were 129 polling stations, not 131, because two polling stations, two streams, the ballot boxes and ballot papers were completely destroyed by goons, the same goons that came from Mombasa.
Again, because this is a one-sided conversation.
Let me finish.
It's a one-sided conversation.
Because you were not there.
I was not there, you were not there. A lot of people who are watching us were not there.
You were not there,
and let me tell you why it's important. Why it's important to ensure that Mheshimiwa Ishungwa doesn't get away with doing stuff like this. Because you see, he's telling us, I mean, for all we know, this could be propaganda from Tangatanga just to consolidating their vote or making their argument. But I know he's a smart guy. I know he's a man of integrity. He most probably is not lying. But what I would want to hear him, what I would want to see him do is actually take action. Because he asked a very good question. How do we stop people from using violence to do politics? By actually following due process. Not talking about it on TV. Following due process. Don't come and propagate it, because if you propagate it here and it looks like that person got away with it. So you're here telling us that, you know what, there were police officers who were deployed, there are people who burnt a polling station, but then no action was taken. You announced it on Citizen, which is the largest media house we have. So everybody everywhere else knows, so in Msambweni, guys mobilized police, guys went and attacked a polling station, but nobody was arrested. So now the question, a polling station. So now the question that comes, that I beg, and I said, Ishungwa understands how the law works. He's been in parliament, this is his second term. What I'm wondering is, the Tangatanga MPs who are there, I'm assuming they've recorded reports to the police. I want to believe they will follow this process.
Okay, gentlemen, can we move on?
To the end. Even as we move on, let me just say this. Kibra.
Otherwise, it's just propaganda.
Not less than 6 reports were made to Kilimani police station. Nothing was done.
Don't give up.
Yesterday, not less than 3 complaints. Or about 4.
Follow them up.
That were recorded.
Pay a good lawyer.
Let me finish.
I saw you doing Matiangi.
You know, Jeff, if you want to make this a shouting match, we can make it a shouting match. I think I can make it a shouting.
Because you're also doing propaganda.
You must have the decency.
No, you're doing propaganda.
The decency to be a gentleman, to be able to listen. Listen and be able to answer what I'm raising. Because the issues I'm raising, Jeff, I am not crazy to be raising them on TV.
They're propaganda. How do I know?
I am not crazy. Yesterday we said them on the ground as they happened. Media houses were there covering all those events. I will tell you, about 6 or 7 months ago, people were poisoned in my constituency. because the deputy president came to distribute food there.
Let me
finish. Not an allegation.
This is my problem.
I'm talking about process, due process.
Okay.
This is my problem.
Are we going to move on?
He's an apologist for the police because he works with them in his security committee.
But he's in the
let me say
committee.
this. Let me finish.
Because
you're talking about due process.
The
due process I followed, what do you do when people are poisoned? Make a report, make statements. If you have evidence, give it to the police. I did all that 7 months down the line.
Okay, let me
bring it as a petition. Let me tell you something. He knows one of the things he can do. He can actually bring it as a petition. He can bring it to Parliament.
We can know why Ngunjiri is so confident about parliamentary committees, especially the committee he sits in. They are very well aligned.
What do you mean?
To protect, to be gatekeepers.
Now you see the propaganda I'm talking about.
Let me finish. I have done petitions, not a petition. I have done questions. And he knows how.
Are you casting aspersions on Parliament now?
I am doing it.
On Parliament?
On your committee.
Let me ask you this.
On your committee. The reason people are moved from committees, people who are seen not to be sympathetic to their cause and
so why were you moved from budget? Why were you moved from being chairman of budget?
Because I told you the truth, that the things you are doing next week.
See,
no wonder there's problems in Jubilee. But let me ask you this.
Why was I moved from budget?
Yes.
Next week we have been called back to Parliament. The things I said on the floor in June, was it in June? No, in May. When we were doing the tax laws in May. I told them, and I remember it is only, and Ngunjiri, this is why you need to be honest. This is why you need to be forthright and bold enough to say the things as they are.
Think about it.
I was forthright.
I am one of the most forthright people in this town.
Can I finish? The only person I can credit within the ranks in Kieleweke is Honorable Kimunya. Because being a seasoned politician who was served in the National Treasury, he is the only other member of Parliament, I think, other than John Buddy, who understands these things, who stood and supported my position on the tax laws that we are going to undo next week. Now we are going to undo tax laws at the time when COVID is almost at its peak, worse than at the time we gave to Kenyans tax relief. Now we have to tax them more. We told them then, you are making a mistake. But because they don't listen, because everybody must be a government apologist and look good on TV to please people in government to collect whatever you collect from them, I don't need to look good to anyone.
Okay, let me ask you
I only need to look good to the people who vote me in and believe in me that you'll be able to articulate their issues,
gentlemen,
with government.
A BBI was held today. Real quick, let's not take too long on this. Mheshimiwa Ngunjiri, a BBI was held, the referendum.
Yes.
Would it pass?
Oh yes, it would. It would pass. Let me tell you why it would pass. First and foremost, it would pass because we have a large population that supports BBI, and then the people who would actually fight BBI won't fight it because it benefits them as well.
What do you mean?
You see, let me tell you why Ishungwa is having a problem.
Yes.
Taking a position on BBI.
Go on.
Because yes, he wants to. They've spent 2 years radicalizing the population against a document that hadn't been prepared. Remember, we didn't start. Ishungwa and their team didn't start fighting BBI when the report was launched. They started fighting BBI even before proposals were given. They called it names. Sijui Baba Ikulu. Sijui what. Billionaire something initiative. They called it many things. This was all before the report was done. Right. So they actually never supported the BBI process from the beginning, right? But they are now at the point. So they spent 2 years radicalizing a section of the public that follows them around. And now that section is so radicalized against BBI, they can't go back to them and tell them, let's pass it, right? On the other hand, the results of BBI as they are right now favor them. Why? Deputy President William Ruto wants to run for president. In this current structure of government, he only has one position to dangle to other people. BBI gives him 4, right? And remember, one of the things about the deputy president is how good he is at taking advantage of opportunities. In 2010, he actually campaigned against the current constitution completely. I mean, he led that no campaign very well, right? Immediately the campaign was done, he was one of the beneficiaries of the deputy president position of the new constitution that he fought against. So I would not be surprised if Ishungwa ends up being a prime minister, this one that he doesn't want to support. I mean, the president has been set. But the point I'm trying to make is this.
Yeah.
We now have Tangatanga fighting BBI and saying that the constitution that the deputy president did not want in 2010 is fine, right? And nobody is challenging them on that one. So why I say BBI will pass is because they will not take a position.
Mheshimiwa, would it pass?
First, I don't know what is this desperation with Ngunjiri with me taking a position and him.
No, I want you to say yes. I want you to say, I want you to support BBI.
Can you at least have the decency now to listen to me for just 2 minutes? I'll not speak for 5 like you.
Then don't keep mentioning me. Don't keep mentioning me.
He is very desperate for me to take the position he wants me to take. But I've already taken a position. If you ask me that question, maybe I would have told you on this bench, I see you asking Atuoli a lot of those questions, including who would win the American election, and he swears Trump. Maybe he will tell you who will win the referendum. But if you did the referendum today...
But he's already said.
If you did the referendum today, if you ask me how I would vote a big no.
You'd let down your side.
I would vote a big no. And I'm a huge beneficiary of this BBI process. As I told you, if the people of Kikuyu were gracious enough or my political party was gracious enough to nominate me, I could stand the chance of being a prime minister, deputy prime minister, or even a minister. But what is it doing to the person who has entrusted his life on me? That villager in Gatune village who stands no opportunity to become a minister or a prime minister because he's not a member of parliament. What is it doing to him? Am I going to allow a process that will make that villager in Gatune or in Kambura where I was born to pay for 600 members of parliament? At an average cost of about 52 million shillings per year, we are talking if you have 200 to 250 members of parliament additional, then you're talking about 11 to 16 billion shillings of recurrent expenditure. At a time, Jeff, we are unable to pay our public debt today. At a time, we are unable to pay our doctors. At a time, we can't even educate our own children. Would I betray the people who have entrusted their lives on me because I benefit? I think I would be cast to do that. And I would vote no. And I will do anything within my powers to convince the people to vote with me if you did it today. That is why we have said, stop just thumping Ngunjiri. Stop this high-handedness. Stop telling us government must come heavy on people. Stop coming heavy on people. Be soft on people. Walk with the people. Talk to the people. Get to know what are their daily concerns today. If you listen to the people, they will walk with you. If you want to look at them as their lords, Ngunjiri, they will punish you like they did in somewhere else.
I love when he pontificates, because that's what's called pontification. Because I wish he would then move to the next step and say, I am going to champion an anti-BBI crusade, because I don't believe in BBI. Okay. And then number two,
yes or no?
We have given them our conditions.
Now he's what they need to do. He's back to interfering with me and arguing when I'm speaking. So now the question I have, and this is why our politics lacks integrity. When Cameron drove the anti-Brexit campaign, and the Brits decided they were going to leave, he left office. Why? Because he couldn't live with the fact. He couldn't then now turn around and become, I was the one who was out there campaigning.
Are you comparing us to the UK?
I'm just telling you why we have a problem.
With the UK.
I mean, we should.
We
must.
And not with facts, by the way. Cameron pushed for the referendum.
Yes.
It's the legislative work that was to be done to be able to push through Brexit. Correct. That he was unable to do. And because
now,
he was able to push that, he resigned.
No. Yeah, the Brexit made, the Cameron was part of the team that was made of, was it stayers? The guys,
stayers, yes.
And the leavers won.
Correct.
Cameron left office because he couldn't now run government to now shepherd government to leave, and he had been the one who wanted to stay.
So now what do you want to leave government?
No, I was just trying to point the figure. The point that, you see, to leave government. when we
came to
these guys,
government,
let me tell you why I have a problem, where I'm making that point.
Yeah.
And I used the example of the deputy president in 2010, pushing the no campaign, and then in 2012, benefiting from it, and then in 2020, fighting it again, fighting the constitution that he was fighting to keep the constitution he was fighting to not pass, and nobody's calling him out, and that's the problem we have, and the reason now we are seated here with Ishungwa, and now somebody is pontificating, he's explaining so well why he has a problem with BBI, so well, but he won't fight it, and this is a problem we have. Because
but he would vote no.
No. But you see, he's a member of parliament. He's a member of parliament. He's a member of parliament of Kikuyu.
Yes.
If he's so sure this process is wrong, he needs to go and tell the people of Kikuyu, do not support BBI.
But I am telling them.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I am telling them.
I didn't know. Now I know.
Gunjiri, unlike you, I keep telling you, I don't need to please anybody. I just need to do what I believe is right.
Why are you assuming that me supporting BBI is pleasing someone?
Please the people who do what they do with you. Anyway,
what do they do?
I don't need to please anybody in government. I don't need to please anybody other than the person who has entrusted his life on me.
Okay.
And not just to please them, Jeff. I have a moral responsibility to safeguard their livelihoods.
All right, guys.
If you tell me those 2 million Kenyans, 4 million Kenyans who have lost jobs in the informal sector and the 2 million in the formal sector don't matter. If you tell me, like CS Mutahi Kagwe said the other day, I saw CS Mutahi Kagwe on your TV the other day, and he said something that I found very unfortunate. He said that doctors, like many of us, go to bars, go to pubs, they attend weddings and funerals and all that. At the time, we had just lost Dr. Mugusu. And I asked myself, are you serious telling us that these doctors are catching COVID in bars and pubs and everywhere else, and because the rest of us are going there? Not to forget that the doctor, as much as he would go to a restaurant or a wedding and everywhere, his place of work is high risk. I will go there coughing, I will go there unknowing I have no symptoms, and he will, maybe a dentist attend to me and he will contract COVID. We need to be more sensitive, and that's all I'm asking my brother here to be. And I keep telling them, please, be sensitive to Kenyans. Munjiru was telling us that whether we want the president to abandon the projects of commissioning the food bridge in Likoni, which will be operational in January, or the other roads that he's doing. I only wish, Gunjiri, that is what we are focusing on.
But that's what I'm focused on.
When we went out to campaign in 2017, we went out to Kenyans to sell an agenda. The other reason, and I say, Jeff, I told you off the cuff, part of the reason I don't believe in the BBI process and the handshake process. There are certain things I agree with the handshake process. There are certain things I would never agree with them.
Which is okay.
Which is okay. And one of the things that I keep saying, I never ever went anywhere, and I went, when he was campaigning in Nyeri, I was all over this country campaigning for this government. Not a single meeting anywhere in this country did we sell anything called BBI, anything called
but that was non-existent there.
It was non-existent. It was non-existent.
We sold
why
it.
Today, I will not leave what I sold to the people. And if you want to know and understand me, Jeff, you need to ask the people of Kikuyu. I am the only member of parliament in 2013 who got elected on the basis of a written manifesto. And I told them, judge me against this manifesto after 5 years. 2017, I went back to them and reported to them what I had been able to do and what I intend to do in the next 5 years. And they entrusted me with that. If you ask me to derail myself from that and start chasing the wind, in chasing something we call BBI because it will end electoral violence, when we are not dealing with the real issue that causes electoral violence, which is what I was telling maybe Mheshimiwa Boga from Sambweni should teach their party leader how to concede.
Allow me, because you see, we also have to be truthful as we explain some of these things. One of the promises that we made as Jubilee in 2017 was that we were going to do everything we could to unite this country. It was a fundamental part of our manifesto. That is a software issue. Right. That is not building roads. That's not a big four issue. That's a software issue. Ishungwa is very proud of the handshake between Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta in 2012.
Extremely.
And that handshake united a certain part of our country, right? The president, and he told us and keeps saying that, he moved to the next step. I have already united myself with my brother William. I'm still fighting with my brother Raila. Can I unite with this one? And the question has always been, why then do you have a problem with the president uniting with this one and united with this one?
That's the only bit I said I agree with.
And you see, and this is a question, and what the president has done is nothing else but that. In 2012, he wasn't even president. He did a handshake, and they even exchanged capes. I didn't actually believe in it. Let me tell you, I am honest. I did not believe in it. Maybe I'm now, that time, I am like Ishungwa today. See, that time, I am the one.
That time you were saying the president and the president
no, that's not
should
true.
be hanged at the
That's
ICC.
not true. That is a tweet, a fake tweet.
Let me tell you. I'm not saying Raila Odinga should be hanged or the president
Jeff,
should be hanged.
Yes. This guy's created a fake Twitter account that they've pushed that. And you remember I showed it to you one day.
Politicians, Jeff, and fake news.
So anyway,
would you believe that was fake?
Back to my point.
No.
Back to my
He
point.
wrote articles in the Star.
So here we are. I never said that.
Correct.
He said they should be hanged.
No, I never said that.
They should be jailed.
Ishungwa, I thought you said you are an honest person. That is not true.
Did you call them war criminals?
No, I did not.
You call them war criminals.
I did not. And if you want us to put that, you want us to put that particular tweet on screen, it is not true. It is not true. It's never. I never did that. But anyway, I'm not here to defend myself.
Right.
I am here to make the point that
you are indefensible. You can't even defend yourself.
Ishungwa has continued to defend the handshake of 2012 between William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta, right?
Yeah.
It was very important. It was a very important handshake. It brought peace in the Rift Valley, right?
Yeah.
In 2017, that handshake between William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta was not enough to bring peace in Nairobi and in Nyanza. So what did the president do? Because the handshake of 2012 came about because there was violence in Rift Valley in 2007. The same kind of violence that was in Nairobi in 2017. And because in 2007 there was violence, there was a handshake between Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. And there is no violence in Rift Valley. So now, in 2017, despite the handshake that gave us peace in Rift Valley, we had violence in Nairobi. So what did the president do? The same thing he did in 2007. He reached out to the person who was being defended by the people who had committing violence in 2017, sat down with Raila Odinga and shook hands and hoped that this is the last handshake. And in fact, if you listen to the president explain about BBI,
have to justify
if you listen, if you can stop interrupting me, Ishungwa. If you listen to the president explain
for 5 minutes
BBI,
repeating yourself,
he keeps saying that he wants the handshake he did with Raila Odinga to be the last handshake this country will ever have to do because of electoral violence, right?
Yeah.
And it's because Uhuru is going to leave office. Nobody's going to be with us forever. In 2007, we had violence. In 2017, we had violence. In 1992, we had violence. What we are trying to do is create a process, and I'm willing to support any process that gives us a chance or hope that we can actually kill that.
All right, guys. Are we ever going to
anything that will bring peace to this country?
I don't know that we're ever going to
finish
this. And I say
because there are certain elements of the handshake and BBI that I support. There are other elements of the handshake and BBI that I would never support. One of the elements I support of the handshake is the issue of bringing people together, because that was President Uhuru Kenyatta's and William Ruto's objective from way back from 2012. And that I support. When they amalgamated 13, 14 political parties in 2016, that was part of that process. But
so do you want them to amalgamate ODM and Jubilee?
When now that I would never support, of course, and I have said it. If you amalgamate ODM and Jubilee, I will walk out. I will, Jeff.
That's okay.
Because I don't believe in ODM.
I mean, Ishungwa, that's fine.
He has been in ODM, he believes in ODM. He's actually still in ODM, that's why he is comfortable with it. I would not be comfortable, and I would walk out.
I was
telling you, if we had left the handshake and the BBI process to what we were told about the 9-point agenda about bringing people together, bringing unity and peace and tranquility in our nation, then it would be okay. The moment we moved it beyond the 9-point agenda to be about changing the constitution, to be about increasing members of parliament and increasing Wanjiko's burden, then I must have problems. And you must allow me to have a problem with it and be able to raise questions.
And the problem now is that if
you raise questions, Bwana DCI, kwenda chukua huyo. Sijui EACC, kwenda tafuta huyo. Sijui nani.
If that's happening to him, if that's happening to him, I do not support. I think he has a right to not agree. I think we need to respect the right, his right not to support BBI. He has a right to choose what he wants to support and what he doesn't want to support. That's fine. And he shouldn't get defensive. People. He shouldn't get defensive because nobody's forcing it down on him. Nobody's forcing it down on anybody else.
Why are you forcing people to sign?
Because
all right, gentlemen,
people are being forced to sign.
Okay, are we ever going to discuss Sonko? Okay.
Is there something to discuss about Sonko?
Okay.
To discuss?
All right, let's go retweets.
we are from the village, both of us.
Those guys are from the village. It's you Nairobi people. It's you Nairobi people. We are looking at you like.
Okay, who's the next CJ?
The best candidate who will be selected by JSC.
Okay, who would you want to see?
A good person. a forthright person, a person who will be a defender.
Can you take a stand?
Let me tell you, one of the issues I have with the BBI process is a question of judicial independence and the question of
ombudsman.
Yes,
being
I would want
nominated by the president,
a CJ who will be very emphatic on the independence of the judiciary.
Meaning the ombudsman comes to the JSC.
We have already lost the police to this state. If we lose the judiciary, we are done.
Who would you like to see? Give me a name.
Myself.
Oh, you're not a lawyer. But anyway, let me tell you what. Let me tell you what.
You asked for a name.
I have a problem. I have a problem with Maraga, and that's not.
Why? Because he annulled an election?
Not even annulled an election. I took a petition against him that has never been heard. I have never been. 3 years later, I was never told. It was, a petition you just write. You don't need to pay for a petition. You guys pay for everything. Nobody pays for a petition. I just wrote a petition. And I took it to the JSC. And let me tell you, I have had, in fact, I'm actually working on a bill about JSC. I have a problem with the Judicial Service Commission that is made up of 70% lawyers in a country where lawyers are 14,000. Out of 48 million people, lawyers are 14,000. And they make up 70% of one arm of government.
So you have a problem with that?
I have a problem with that. So my proposal is that the first thing we need to do is we need to expand our Judicial Service Commission to incorporate people, because they are oversighting. They're not just judges and lawyers. They're in charge of our arbitration process. And we have a problem. And that is the position I have.
I would agree with him on the composition of JSC.
Because we have to bring in... Let me finish so that you can agree now properly after I have made the point. We have a part of the reason why we have even just now arguing about who should be the new Chief Justice. That new Chief Justice is going to be determined by a team of 7-8 lawyers, right? And that is my problem. We go to court and people make decisions, and you can't take that process, that which is what the ombudsman is supposed to come and do. You're supposed to have a place you can go and complain if you have a problem with the judiciary. So why would the ombudsman be part of the judiciary or the JSC? You're going to complain to the same people who you have a complaint with. We must create a process of being able to oversight the judiciary.
Okay.
And it's not lawyers. It can't be lawyers.
Anyone you'd like to see? Anyone out there?
There's a brilliant lawyer called Tom Masharia. I wish he could be Chief Justice.
That's a guy who was drafting BBI for them. That's why he's voting for him. Anyway, let me tell you this. I was agreeing with him on one thing.
Yes.
There might be need to relook at the composition of JSC.
Right.
Just as much as there is need to relook at how you appoint the ombudsman. I would have vouched for a panel, a multi-sectoral panel like we do for IEBC.
Right.
Maybe get the judiciary, you need to get LSK, get the religious sector, you need to get the civil society, get even government representation in a panel that then would shortlist and interview and maybe nominate 3 candidates for appointment as ombudsman. The process as proposed in BBI, I don't agree with it.
Which is directly from the president?
Directly from the president. It will be manipulative. They will manipulate the judiciary, and I'm telling you, we will go back to the old...
All right, guys, let me read some tweets.
Jeff, one point with the Chief Justice. I keep hearing people saying that if the Chief Justice or the ombudsman is appointed by the president, he will be in the president's pocket. We forget that this Chief Justice was appointed by the president, the one who annulled his election.
Joe Kia says we need to have our politicians on the bench tired. I already like the sober discussion. Giving credit to the Hustler Nation. That's news. You see, you were complaining how tired you were, and you see how
I've not slept.
You haven't slept?
I've only slept.
I am Kip Curry says, does the case of Msambweni tell the political alignment at the coast? Real quick, does it tell about the political alignment?
It does.
Or is it just local politics?
It's local politics, in my opinion.
Mvuria.
Entirely local politics. Mvuria,
it tells
the legend.
The Hustler Nation is rising and is unstoppable.
It's okay. They can run with that. I mean, we will give it to them, but I don't believe it.
Walter Odis says, how will extension of executive to create position of prime minister solve the issue of winner take all?
Because you have to form a coalition before you run for president. You actually must form a coalition of at least 5 people and then come and present them to Kenyans.
These 5 that you're presenting?
Yes, not 2. You see, right now, Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto presented a coalition of 2 people.
Right.
Anything that expands from 2 to 5, it's better than 2.
Jeff.
What about the Pentagon?
It is a coalition.
But see, the Pentagon was formed, but the government that existed didn't allow the Pentagon to then form government.
Right.
It is a coalition of 5 ethnic lords.
Let me tell you something, Jeff.
In 2002, we are taking the country back.
In 2002,
era of mobilizing
our best election.
Ethnicity. The hustler nation narrative is not about mobilization, about...
That's why you guys are only giving wheelbarrows to Mount Kenya.
By then they've only been given in Nairobi. None in Mount Kenya, by the way.
I thought you gave wheelbarrows. I thought you gave wheelbarrows. I thought you gave wheelbarrows in Murang'a.
Do you know the wheelbarrow movement was only in Nairobi?
I thought it was in Murang'a. I saw you. I saw you with wheelbarrows in Githurai. Please don't lie to people.
Where is Githurai?
Kiambu.
In Kiambu, boss.
45 is Kiambu.
45 is in Kiambu.
Yeah, 44 is Nairobi.
Oh, so you were in 45.
We were in Nairobi.
You call it tomato, I call it tomato.
By the way, semantics been rolled out in not more than 15 of the 17 Nairobi constituencies before COVID hit, and we had to, the deputy president had to
Jeremiah Karaoke says, on the priorities, what are the key solutions being offered by Tangatanga team?
None.
What are we seeing? What we are seeing is politics of opposing rather than providing clear-cut solutions.
True.
Can we deal with the pandemic and deal with economic revival? Top priorities.
1 and 2.
Contain the pandemic, then deal with how we revitalize and...
See,
two priorities.
No. The people who we represent as the people who they voted for us to form government, put us in government to answer questions, not to ask them. We can't be the ones complaining about what's not happening. We're supposed to be getting it done.
The solutions.
Kishungwa has been chairman of budget for 3 years. So he needs... what did we do? What were the priorities he delivered on?
I told them the truth. They fired me for telling them the truth, Jeff. What did you want me to do?
You did fire you for telling them.
Refuse to be fired? I told them I will take a walk even before you fire me.
3 years later.
By the way, they tried to fire me the year before.
And why did...
In a committee of 27 members of parliament. When they tried the year before, only 2 members of parliament
haven't you fired the DP?
To fire me. 2 members of parliament.
Out of 27.
Out of 27. The rest of the committee, and even the 2 told me that we're only doing it because of party politics. Otherwise, we believe in your leadership.
So 1 year later, you had done so badly, the rest fired you. Or what happened?
Sorry?
1 year later, you had done so badly.
I was fired in a fake PG.
Looks like you missed that job of yours.
He really misses that
job. Budget, eh?
But if he was in budget,
I wouldn't have gone to Msambweni, by the way.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't have gone to Msambweni.
They might have lost. So it's a good thing he's not in budget.
Hope Adero says, civility in today's JKLive debate isn't accidental. Similarly, national development isn't accidental or geographically determinism. It takes conscious change, inclusive dialogue, good-natured tolerance, and citizen-driven approaches to build a cohesive nation. Oh, okay. So you guys, same party, but you're differing and you're being civil. I guess, we're being civil. And by the way, this is what I was saying earlier on. Ghana, Africa's, Sub-Sahara's oldest independent republic, right? 1957, March the 6th. They held an election the other day, guys. Presidential election. And it passed by.
They're 6 years older than us.
57 to 63, you're right.
6 years older than us. Let me tell you, in 6 years, we're going to be there.
The guy who lost?
Yeah.
Did he ask people to go to the streets?
No, he didn't. Is it Mahama?
Yeah, concede.
But no, was president before.
You see, Jeff, he's trying to, there's a point he's trying to make.
What is that?
But Trump refused to concede and the country is still moving on.
Trump.
So it's not about, let me tell you, he tried. Yeah. They went to the streets with guns.
And they're still pretty armed.
Yes.
They shoot anybody.
You see, they went with guns.
Would you go to America today? Would you go on one of your trips that you people always go to?
Not with COVID.
Oh, yeah, of course. Shega Wairimo says, the will of the people surpasses any political affiliations. Let's embrace peace as one Kenya. Politicians should know how to embrace each other despite differences. Every race has a winner and a loser. Okay?
Agreed.
Fair enough. One more.
This time he won, we lost, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll win.
Zain Aslam, what a phenomenal JKLive today. 2 smart Kenyans from the same party, possessing conflicting views, respectfully debating. Phenomenal. Well done to both of you. Okay, let's wind up, because I know you're tired. I know you have a long way to drive.
Did they expect us to fight or something?
No, it's a maturity. It's good to, but how old are you?
I'm teaching him.
How old are you? 40-something? You're 45, 40?
44. I just turned 44.
45.
Wow, look at you guys. That's fantastic. Yeah. That's the new generation.
That's us.
That's you guys.
We're going to fix this country.
Can we get
I'm
it
going
right?
to be in government.
Can we get it right?
I'm going to be in government. He's going to be in opposition, and we're going to do this
and
right.
he's promised me.
I'm going to opposition, office of opposition, and I'm going to give him 2 German shepherds because I breed dogs.
Why?
Just because we're friends. I mean, politics is he's going to be in opposition. I'm going to be in government.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we can't be friends.
Right.
No?
And then when he gets into government and you're opposition, you'll still be friends.
He'll give me the 2 German shepherds back.
Let me tell you, I will be in government.
Yes.
He will not be in opposition because he will not even be re-elected. Unfortunately.
It's okay. The best part about that,
the German shepherds?
Jeff,
You get them or no?
Jeff,
I'll get the German shepherds because they took away my security, so I need the German shepherds.
Jeff,
Yes.
the best part about it, let me tell you the best part about it,
Yes.
he doesn't vote in Nyeri.
Oh!
I know people.
All right.
So,
Closing
they're
thoughts,
texting
gentlemen.
me here. Yes.
Closing thoughts, okay?
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa, let's start with you first. Closing thoughts going forward. You know, festive season, COVID is still crazy.
Yep.
There's so much. It's been a tough year.
I think my first remarks would be just listening to what guys are saying. I think it's important to understand that we politicians are doing our job. You do yours. Don't allow us to wrap you up into our conflicts and our competition and our challenges. You do yours, and we will do ours. And part of our job is going to be to debate, to disagree, because that's how we move the country forward. We can't all agree. I mean, the people of Nyeri voted for me, the people of Kikuyu voted for him. We'll go into parliament. We don't always agree, but don't let us pull you into a fight. As we go into the festive season, I am expecting Ishungwe is going to call me from Mbuzi. This is older, so I'm going to be traveling to Kikuyu. But we're going to observe MOH protocols. I'm very happy to see Akina Ishungwa are now wearing masks. There's a time they were going around and they were not wearing masks as Tangatanga. So it's important that now everybody is taken over responsibility and accepted that every person needs to do their part. Wear your mask, sanitize, observe social distance. Don't visit people if you don't have to. This is going to be a very weird Christmas. But the most important thing for us is to survive this season. And God has actually been very, very, very gracious to us. I mean, when you watch other countries, what has been happening to them, it's bad. It could have been worse. It could be better. And part of the responsibility we have as leadership, even as we fight, is to make sure doctors get their PPEs, to make sure we allocate money to health centers, to make sure we figure out how schools are going to open, how we're going to get money for bursaries, where we're going to make money to fix schools. That is our responsibility. And when in 2022 I'll have delivered my part, I'm not sure whether Kikuyu is going to put him back again for a third term. I'm going to give him a job to come and run my CDF.
So you still have a job. Mheshimiwa, you get the last one. You still have a job, even if the people of Kikuyu don't vote for you.
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa here will give you a job.
Chairman of my CDF.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure I would want to get myself mired in the things I hear going on there. Yeah. So I wouldn't take that job. There are jobs I wouldn't take. Just like I would enjoy no DM like him. But let me just say, as we go to the festive season, just joined my colleague here to ask Kenyans to be a little more vigilant, especially with the COVID-19. And take care of themselves. They're on their own, completely on their own. But as leaders, we must continue to speak for them as much as they are being left on their own. And I want to promise them, especially those from Kikuyu, that I'll continue to speak out for them and stand for what I believe is the right thing to do for them. We must be sensitive to our people's needs. We're asking our children to go back to school in January. Our doctors, as we say, we are political statements that we make, that we are agitating for them to get PPEs. But those PPEs, remember, it's members of the parliamentary committees that got business at KEMSA, the COVID billionaires. You've seen it in the Public Investments Committee and the committee in Senate that is investigating that matter. Therefore, let us walk the talk and not just talk to be heard by members of the public. Let us also walk with them and be sensitive to the issues that are dear to them. Lastly, let me take this opportunity once again to thank immensely the people from Sambweni for allowing themselves not to be divided along their ethnicities, along the divisions of where they come from, those from the coast and those from outside the coast region, and seeing the bigger picture of a hustler nation that is standing together and rising together, and promise them that we will get there.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get there, inshallah. Gentlemen, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, my friend.
Thank you so much to you both. And again, it was a little last minute and we're scrambling around and you guys came through. And again, this was a very important conversation. Sober and important. So
that's how we do.
Good for you guys. Good for you. Well done. Nyarita, Member of Parliament,
You've seen I'm still teaching him not to interject, to wait, listen to
and he does that by interjecting. You know, he interjects to teach me how not to interject. How does that work?
Just like he's now courtesy of his Kieleweke business, is now the vice chair of the education committee.
Oh,
we've been doing very good work with him.
And vice chair of education.
Very good work.
Courtesy of my Kieleweke work, courtesy of his Tangatanga work, he lost the chairman of budget.
But he was good as chairman, eh?
He was very good.
Best chairman.
Well, not best, but...
Hold on. We haven't finished. Just walk here.
There's a thing you need to do.
Yeah.
Okay, please. Go right ahead.
You know this show better than me. I just wanted to let people know that JKLive is powered by... Oops, is it working? Okay, here we go. Okay, it'll work, I promise. Okay, it is powered by Johnny Walker. It's somewhere here, I promise you. There we go. Oh. TV Dolenono. Okay, so. Electrified Johnny Walker is exhibiting its eminence in electrifying quality and celebrating 200 years of blended Scotch excellence. Give a gift that sparks this festive season. Johnny Walker Black. Okay. By the way, excessive alcohol consumption is harmful to your health, not for sale to people under the age of 18 years old. Once again, thanks to my guest tonight, Kikuyu Member of Parliament Kimani Ichung'wah. There you go, I got it right now. Thank you, sir. And Nyarita Member of Parliament Kunjiru Wambogo. Thank you, folks, for watching this show. Happy holidays to you all. Good night, good luck. God bless you all. Mask.